Do you think the murderer will ever be found?
You know, I sort of do still. I think we have two ways that'll happen. It'll either be a DNA match or someone who knows something will become angry or bitter against this person and will tell.
In 2006, an Alabama schoolteacher named John Mark Carr confessed to the crime.
I love Jonbenét, and she died accidentally.
Carr, then in Thailand, was extradited to the U.S., but the DNA didn't match. It wasn't him. However, soon after Jonbenét's murder, there had been an incident that could have led the police to the killer. There were things that were not looked into. Tell me about those.
Well, there was one in Boulder about, I don't know, 6 or 9 months later that was very similar. Intruder went into the house when the parents were gone. Parents came home, went to bed, and fortunately found the intruder in their daughter's bedroom and frightened him off.
Did they find this man?
Mm-mm.
So do you think this man might have been the same intruder?
I think it ought to be looked at very hard.
Yeah, it's a little late.
It's
no?
Unfortunately too late. In fact, the conclusion of the police at that time, the police chief, was that, well, it's not the same because the little girl was not murdered.
You think the killer is still out there somewhere?
He's either out there dead or in prison. And I think if he were in prison, there's a higher likelihood now that his DNA would be in the database, the national database. What I've been advocating is that anyone arrested for a felony should be DNA printed, just like they're fingerprinted. I was told by a chief of police that if we had such a law in place in this country, nationwide, we would solve 1,000 murders overnight.
Jonbenét would have been 25 this year. That's hard to believe. Do you think about what kind of a woman she would have been?
Mostly I think of her as a 6-year-old child that I remember.
In 2006, John suffered another loss. Patsy Ramsey died after fighting ovarian cancer for 4 years. It was not until 2008, 2 years after Patsy's death, that the Ramseys were officially exonerated, and the Boulder district attorney apologized to them. Patsy went through all of that without knowing that she'd been cleared.
That's correct. But Patsy was a very strong woman.
I remember. Tabloids at the time accused your son Burke of the murder of his sister. Was he aware of that?
We tried to shield him from that. Friends would ask us, what can we do to help? We said, well, next time you go in the supermarket, call the manager over when you see our child's photo on the front cover and ask him to remove it. A lot of them did that.
There have been other consequences to having been the center of a violent, highly publicized crime. After Jonbenét's body was found, the Ramseys never set foot in their house again. They decided to move back to Atlanta to be close to family. So John left his job, but they had problems financially. Before Jonbenét's death, you were reportedly worth millions of dollars, but that money seems to have gone.
I was told by a very experienced FBI person that most victims of violent crime end up broke. It's very expensive to deal with, the justice system. You make bad decisions. You sell your home, you move, you quit your job, you change job. When something really tragic happens in your life, put your life in park. Give your checkbook to a trusted friend. Avoid making any big decisions because you're just not capable of making good decisions.